Hello and welcome to what promises to be yet another thrilling installment of action from Week 3 of Division 6 of the REL League. I am your host, Kallisti Maya, the Golden Apple of Discord. We have now completed our third week of action, and already coaches in Division 6 are battling it out for the top spot. Leaders are emerging and some teams are proving a little bit slower out of the blocks. There is still plenty of time yet for you to storm past the finishing line in first place, even if you are literally at the back of the pack. But if that's your plan, week 4 this week, or 5, is the time to stop playing possum, or if you're a fan of boxing, show the rest of the division you know how to rope-a-dope, float like a butterfly, and sting like a bee. Last season in Division 3, I did pretty much the same thing, drawing my first game and then losing the next 4 games. So going into week 6, I was close to last, and when I had been written off as an also ran, I just really started playing and won game after game after game. Not that I wasn't trying in those first few games, but I would say that it was a much more reserved and defensive effort. I did make my run a little bit too late and only finished in 4th last season, which is why I say that if you're going to unleash the beast within, now is the time. If you've been vaguely paying attention to chat around Discord, or the ReBBL Alliance podcasts, or just generally in the wider world of Blood Bowl 2, it will come as no surprise that the 2018 Blood Bowl 2 World Cup has been announced. Whilst details right now from Focus and Cyanide are sparse, we do know that the World Cup itself is due to kick off approximately at the end of June, maybe the beginning of July. We also know that private or community leagues, as Focus calls them, have been invited to throw their hats into the ring as a source for finalists in the World Cup. Private leagues will receive a yet to be specified number of tickets for coaches that qualify from each league holding the qualifying tournaments to send their biggest and best coaches to the biggest of big shows. ReBBL is the biggest private league in the world, and I would say our coaches are some of the best in the world. So of course, we are one of those leagues that is holding a qualifying tournament. If you haven't seen Medal's announcement on Discord, or maybe it was on ReBBL Reddit, we already have posted a sign-up sheet, but have been very vague with the format of the qualifiers. This isn't because we are a bunch of meanies, it's partly because Focus or Cyanide are being relatively cryptic with the admin team. And also it has a lot to do with the fact that organising a qualifying tournament for 50 coaches takes some planning. Doing it for 350 or more coaches worldwide is on a whole other level of complicated. The format for the qualifiers will be pinned down shortly. What we are fairly sure of is that it will be one big cross-regional competition. So you could be playing matches versus Big O or G-Man coaches. It's likely to be a res format with a higher than 1000 TV starting team. Coaches entering will likely have 2 weeks to play their matches, so that's 2 weekends to schedule and play your matches. So games versus those Big O or G-Man coaches shouldn't be a problem. And by the end of the competition, we will have a handful of coaches that will have earned their spot to go compete in the World Cup and show everyone that they are the best coach in the world. Plus, there are some pretty nifty prizes up for grabs in the World Cup. So if you haven't signed up for the World Cup, what are you waiting for? Go sign up. Like, right now. Week 3. Okay, so we're starting off. We had you do have a few bye weeks in this division. So we had top of the list was Bye Bye Black Sheep versus the Farm Animals. So obviously the Farm Animals got a nice 1-0 win over there. That was an admin decision. Then we had the first real match of the week, which was Maximum Overkill versus Raskin Bobbins. And Raskin Bobbins walked away comfortably with a nice 2-0 win there. So let's take a quick look at the action for that one. And we had deaths on either side of for each team. We had 17 armor breaks for Raskin Bobbins and only 7 for Maximum Overkill. Maximum Overkill were a little bit shifty. They were a bit sneaky, and they did get called on their sneaky fouls. So they got two expulsions. Let's take a closer look at more of the in-depth game statistics. And look at that. Raskin Bobbins just walked away with this one. They had so much possession. 62% versus 6. Obviously, there weren't any passes thrown. It wasn't that kind of game. It was down in the mud, brawling. We had pretty much an equal number of blocks succeeded. Where the difference maker, though, definitely, apart from the possession, was that Raskin Bobbins just racked up those injuries. We had 3 KOs versus 1. We had 5 injuries versus 2. And then we had the 1 killer piece. Just looks like a good showing by Shira here. Just using the Nurgle's natural ability to be a control team, just to really squeeze and tighten their grip on the game, and just really sort of push Maximum Overkill around. Take a quick look at the SPP game. And yep, definitely, this is definitely reflecting the stats for the game there. So we have a whole bunch of SPP here for Raskin Bobbins. 5 for French Vanilla, 5 for Mint Chocolates, 2 for Peanut Butter Cup, 4 for Black Cherry, 2 for Rocky Road, 3 for Butter Pecan. I mean, it's just an endless list of SPP. This was an SPP pinata. Maximum Overkill did okay with their SPP game. So obviously they got the MVP for Knob Goblin. It's a good name. We also had Get Ogre here with 2 SPPs, so that must have been for an injury or the kill. And then Ogre My Dead Body got another 2 SPP for another injury or a kill. So, yeah, I mean, definitely a good result there for Raskin Bobbins. Moving on. We had Mutants in Human Clothing versus the Ulthwan Sea Serpents. This was a game that I was looking forward to. As you know, I've been recording all of your games, but this was going to be one of my highlight matches for the week. And the Mutants in Human Clothing walked away with it 2-1. So the Ulthwan Sea Serpents had a good showing, but it was a classic sort of 2-1 grind for the Mutants in Human Clothing. And let's take a quick look at the stats for that one. So yeah, the Ultimate Sea Serpents just really weren't serving up the goods in terms of armor breaks. Probably because they don't have a lot of tackle, and if they do have any, I'm not quite sure. If they do have any, then they probably weren't utilising it as effectively as maybe they could have. Definitely, we got the Mutants in Human Clothing with 12 armor breaks. Taking a look at the deeper look at the statistics, 62% ball possession, which actually is fairly standard for a 2-1 grind. 62 versus 31, so balls. The ball was in a lot of people's hands. There wasn't much time for it to be on the floor, but it's just 2-1 grind. I think that's 2/3 of the ball possession right there, so very, very standard. We had a successful pass for the mutants in human clothing. And we had the 2 for the high elves, but that's nothing to write home about. And then we had just a slew of injuries for the mutants in human clothing. So this looks like another game where the Underworld team were just in control and knew how they wanted this game to sort of pan out, and they forced that verdict. Next, we have the Rottingham Rockers versus the Lizard Beasts, and that was a 2-0 win for the Lizard Beasts. I forgot to mention what my predictions were. So last week, I believe I predicted Raskin Bobbins to win over Maximum Overkill. I predicted Mutants in Human Clothing to win over the Eltham Sea Serpents. But I predicted the Rottingham Rockers to win over the Lizard Beast. So I got that one wrong. And let's take a quick look. We had... Yes, a nice 2-0 win for the Lizard Beasts. We had the 1 death for the Lizard Beasts, and then we had 17 armor breaks versus 5. Take a quick look at the deeper statistics, and look at that again. We have 2/3 of the ball possession were for the Lizard Beasts, but look at the block succeeded statistics. Almost double for the Rottingham Rockers, but they still didn't manage to convert those successful blocks into obtaining the ball and winning the game. They even got the injuries. Look at that, 5 injuries inflicted versus 1 kill inflicted. They even beat them on the Lizard Beasts on the KOs. So they definitely had the better of it for the bashing game, but just didn't convert that into a solid ball possession, grabbing the ball, stealing it, and walking away with the game. It looks like they were happy to get the injuries, but weren't taking it any further than that. Hit the guy to the ground, but what I'm going to do from there on in, I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to carry on hitting people, and hopefully the ball's going to land in my lap. As I said, I did predict the Rottingham Rockers to win this one, so I'm a little bit surprised, but great for the Lizard Beasts, great result. Just a shame the Rottingham Rockers couldn't convert those injuries into ball possession and winning the game. We had the Fogmire Fen Beasts winning 2-0 over Gamba's Gals. I think I predicted this one to go this way as well. Gamba's Gals just really aren't... last season I was following them. They were in Division 5F, maybe 5G. And I was following them, and they did pretty well. They finished in sort of 4th or 5th, sort of mid to high table, and I was predicting big things for them this season, and I don't think they've really been able to get started yet. They're one of those teams that's sort of languishing a little bit lower down on the table, and maybe they are doing a rope-a-dope and they're going to explode in the second half of the season, or maybe they've just reached their limits. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway, they lost 2-0 to the Fogmire Fen Beasts. Very nice result for the Lizardman team here. And look at that, they just owned the game. So we have 75% ball possession versus 12. We have a successful pass and a catch for the Lizardman team. That's unusual. 60 blocks succeeded, 8 KOs inflicted, 3 injuries inflicted. No, it's the same number of injuries inflicted for Gamba's Gals, but other than that, across the board, the Fogmire Fen Beast just walked away with this one. Ars Gotia had a bye-week game, so there's a nice admin 1-0 win for them. Keeps them in contention, and as you'll see in a minute, they are definitely one of the front runners. And then You Worship Chaos was the bye-week win. So I know you have the 3 bye-week wins. Some of my predictions for this week were spot on. Some of them were way off. But I think it was on this week's podcast, actually. Metal or Haringzor mentioned that you guys don't like to draw. They have not had a single draw in this division yet. You're just... One of you's going to go... Two men enter, one man leaves with you guys. I like to see it. It's good. Nobody likes draws. You don't like draws. I don't like draws. It's boring to report on. Games that end in draws for streamers are terrible games. Keep up with what you're doing. If nothing else, carry on sort of battling it out and battling for the win, because it makes for exciting and fun results and for fun games. So carry on doing that. Okay, so let's take a quick look at week 4. Now, a number of games have been played already, so that's great. But I'm just going to do some predictions for the games that haven't been played. Just one game that hasn't been played. So we have You Worship Chaos versus the Ultimate Sea Serpent. I'm going to give this one to You Worship Chaos. I think this Norse team is going to get the better of the High Elves here. I have Gazgal at the helm. I know he's a good coach, and I think the Norse are a solid team. The Ultimate Sea Serpents, I don't think they have anything to really make this the glass cannon Norse that nervous. So I think this is going to be a win for Gazgal. And now let's take a quick look at the leaderboard. So a lot of the week 4 games have been played, but we do have a clear leader. So the farm animals, Chabzu, Chaos Team, you're at 4 and zip. 4 wins, no losses. You're the king. You do have a draw. Oh, so yes, you do have a draw. So you have just the one draw, though. Ars Gotia and Raskin Bobbins are both sitting on 3 wins, 1 draw. So just a pip away from the top spot for all 3 of you. And it's keen to note that the top 3 teams are all Chaos teams or derivatives of Chaos. Obviously, Nurgle's Nurgle, but they are just a faction of Chaos. So, and in fact, the top 4 teams are all teams that have mutations access, natural mutations access. Maybe that's a telling sign. Maybe this is a sign of things to come. Maybe in a few seasons' time, the upper divisions are going to be ruled by Underworld and Nurgle and Chaos. They kind of already are. We're still yet to see a Nurgle team sort of really get it high up there, but the Chaos teams definitely in the higher divisions are scary teams. Looking like the farm animals, Ars Gotia, Raskin Bobbins, and the mutants in human clothing. They're all going to be formidable teams in future seasons and this season. So we have mutants in humans clothing at 3 wins, no losses, no draws. So they still have their game to play. So they could be sharing top spot with the farm animals. The Ultimate Sea Serpents are doing really good. The High Elf team, they are coached by Rylon. They are sitting at 2 wins, 1 loss, along with You Worship Chaos. So this is another matchup for this week. This is the only other matchup where it's actually real people playing. So You Worship Chaos and Ultimate Sea Serpents, you have the same record. This might be a closer game than I thought. But I'm still going to pick Gazgal with You Worship Chaos to win. We have the Lizard Beasts again on 2 wins and 1 loss. Still got the bye week to do, so you're going to finish the week on 3 wins. You're going to finish the week on 3 wins and 1 loss, so you're going to finish somewhere in and around sort of 5th, 6th place, maybe. Then we have the Rottingham Rockers, who have played their 4 games, and they are sitting at 2-0-2. And then we have the Fogmire Fen Beasts. With that win this week 3, they are now sitting at 1 win and 3 losses, as are Maximum Overkill, 1 win, 3 losses. And then we have rounding out the bottom of the division, the Amazon team, Gamba's Gals, coached by Gamba, at just straight 3 losses. Although this week is going to be a bye week, so you're actually going to end up with 1 win and 3 losses. Okie dokie, so let's take a quick look at a few teams. So I think we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think have we done the Rottingham Rockers? I think we haven't, so I'm going to do the Rottingham Rockers. Let's take a quick look at this team, see how it's been developing. So we have... no, we did do this last week. So Mutants in Humans Clothing. Coached by Spoony Bard, it's an Underworld team. And we have... Senketsu, the Warpstone Troll, who is... pretty scary, actually. He's got the claw, he's got the guard, he's got the tentacles. Just hoping, wishing upon a star that he's going to get block, and then this is going to be a very scary troll. Then we have Ira Gamagori, Skaven Blitzer with Claw Pom. That's a thing. Yep, that's nice. Then we have Nomon Jakazur 2 with Claw, Mighty Blow, and Tackle. That's nice. I like that. You've got your Claw Pom piece, but you've got the Tackle piece. It's good for... I'd like to have that. I have a Skaven team, and... I haven't gotten... I had a chance to get Claw on one of them, and I went dodge, which is another story. That Skaven Blitzer that I had, or Storm Vermin that I had, who I took dodge on, he'd already got an agility up, so I probably should have taken Claw, but I didn't. But I have another Storm Vermin who has... he's still at like 29 of 31 SPP. He's just leveling so slowly. And he has Mighty Blow, he has Piling On, and I wish so much that I could turn back the clock and have gone Tackle rather than Piling On. Without Claw, Piling On just doesn't seem as effective. So yeah, definitely I like to see the Tackle on that one piece there. I'm sure maybe Piling On is coming next soon, but maybe not. Maybe he's going to sort of go for a nice Frenzy Juggernaut piece. That might be nice development. So you have the first one, Ira, going his Claw Palm, and then maybe go Grab or Stand Firm for your next skill. And then have Nomon as your more sort of mobile piece, and go Frenzy and Juggernaut, and then you've got a really nice piece there. I'd really like to see you develop that way. Then we have Ryuko Matoi 3, who's one of the 2 throwers, the less developed one, 10 SPP of 16, has gone for block, so a solid choice. Then we have Satsuki, the other thrower, who has 2 heads and extra arms. So this is going to be your ball carrying piece. The 2 heads sort of gives it away. He's going to pick up with that piece and just keep hold of it and cage up or screen off, and just this is going to be the piece that's going to score the touchdowns, and if all goes according to plan, it's going to score your touchdowns. That's a nice piece. I like that piece a lot, by the way. Then we have Uzu Sanagayama, probably pronouncing that incorrectly. Skaven lineman who has dodge and wrestle, so that's nice. It's 21 of 31 SPP, and that's the thing with the Underworld teams. The Skaven lineman on a Skaven team is kind of like fodder. On an Underworld team, it has a little bit more value. So this one is being built up, and that's good to see. I would probably expect to see tackle next. Tackle next, and then the other one, who's on 2 of 6, I would think about going kick. Kick is always a nice one to have. Or dirty player. Do you have any other dirty players? No. Yeah, to go dirty player. That'd be nice. Then we have a whole bunch of goblins. Not going to bother talking about the ones that haven't leveled, but the ones that have, we got 1 with 2 heads and big hand. That's a nice piece. I like that a lot. We have 2 that are blodge. That's going to be fun for people to deal with. And then we have 1 that's got wrestle and horns. So probably going to be developing that into a bullhawk piece. Not expecting to see it get many levels, but if it does manage to survive and get a few more levels, 2 heads and then strip ball, and then that's a wonderful bullhawk piece. And then we have finally rounding out, we have Sumungu, with just the 2 heads. 2 heads on Underworld goblins is a lot of fun. But definitely need to see a little bit more development on that piece. Sitting at a pretty healthy and hefty 1690 TV for an Underworld team. That's pretty good. And then we have the 3 team rerolls. We have the 1 apothecary, have 7 fan factor, and a winning record. Let's have a look at the record. Let's see what you've done so far. So overall, it's a 14-3-3. That's really good. And then just for this season, it's been 3 wins, nothing else. So definitely one of the front runners for winning the division. I thought that going into the season. I definitely still think it now. Definitely one of my picks for a team that's going to do exceptionally well this season. Maximum Overkill, and this is the Ogre team coached by Rando Maximus, and Maximum Overkill is the Sunty team that went through to the Super Bowl or Super Bowl or ReBBL or whatever you want to call it, last season. So lots of expectations for this Stunty team, and the coach that was skillful enough to take them there. Let's see how they've been doing. And also keen to note that this team has a wonderful naming scheme. Everyone who comments on it loves the naming scheme. So hats off to you, Rando Maximus. So we've got Ogre the Cuckoo's Nest with block, guard, and stand firm. Solid piece. We have another one, Ogre the Rainbow, with block, break, tackle, and stand firm. Then we have Work in Ogre Time, block, stand firm, and guard. Then we have Get Ogre here with piling on. break, tackle, and block. And then we have Ogre My Dead Body, who has a movement bust, and also has Juggernaut and break tackle. And then we have a whole bunch of Noblars. Actually, not as many Noblars as you probably might want. And a few of the Noblars just have stat busts all over the place. But the ones that are still active, we have just the two of them with diving tackle. And that's kind of what all you really need if you're just rolling normals. And there's also quite a strong tendency to recycle them. This one, Noble Savage, who's at 14 of 16 SPP. Unless it rolls something amazing, you're probably going to recycle that. You probably might want to recycle that. Be advised to. It's not really much you really want to take on the Noblars to, unless they roll doubles. Or stat ups. I mean, obviously agility 4 Noblar is a thing to behold, a thing of beauty. A Blodge Noblar is pretty nifty too. A Dirty Player Noblar, wonderful. These are all things that you're not going to get on a normal roll. So just being able to pick from the agility chain and already having dodge and sidestep doesn't leave you with much to pick from. Not that they live that long anyway. My comments on your skill choices for the ogres. I like the skill choices for the most part. I'm not sure about the piling on piece. I just think that you only have 5 really sort of critical pieces on your team, and then they have the tendency to bonehead and you just lose them for a turn or more. Having one that you're going to willingly put on the floor to be fouled, and also when they get up they're down to 2 movement, and I don't know. I'm not sure about the piling on at all. I like the break tackle pieces. I like the fact that you've got block on so many of them. Guard is fun, although guard is fun. I'm not quite sure when and where you're going to get out muscled, but guard is fun. And stand firm, good choice as well. But it's just really that piling on piece I'm not sure about. Anyway, good luck to you for the rest of the season. Hopefully you're going to sort of win a few more games. And I think we're going to take a quick look at the farm animals. Chapsu. So let's take a quick look. Now, I was following this team last season and you did well, but I wasn't. At the beginning of this season, I wasn't picking Chapsu as and the farm animals as the team to watch, so the team that I thought was going to make it, and that was my mistake. I apologise to you. I obviously don't know my top quality coaches, because you're at the top of the table. You are doing so well this season, so hats off to you. And obviously you're on a tear, and you're probably going to end up doing amazingly this season. So I'm now paying you a lot more attention. You've suddenly risen up in my esteem. So don't fail me now. Let's carry on seeing the wonderful things that you're doing. Okay, so we have and I also have a little bit of an editorial disclaimer, editorial apology to do. So in my my opening preview episode, I'd gone through the team, and I'd actually paused when I went read one of the player names, and I'm like, oh, that doesn't sound like it fits with the rest of the naming scheme. I was proven wrong. So I'll get to that in a second. So we have the horse 2. So obviously the horse number 1, the Chaos Warrior, died. But we now have the horse 2. He has Mighty Blow. So obviously you're going to be leveling him a little bit faster. Trying to catch up with the rest of your team, I would no doubt. We have the bull, who is Blodge Guard. Got Blodged the wrong way around. Well, not the wrong way around, but not the way you'd expect it. Got a double first of all, so obviously you had to take dodge. You could have taken something else, but you obviously wanted a nice sort of safe piece. So now we have a Blodge Guard piece. The bull is going to be a great piece for you. We have the cow with block. We have the beef with block and guard, and the beef is the one that I was not quite sure on the naming scheme for. I was like, was saying, you got the bull, you got the cow, you got the sheep, you got the pig, you got the beef. I don't think the beef is an animal. It's a meat product. It's a part of the cow. But then Chabsu very nicely came up to me in Discord and corrected me. He said, no, actually, I didn't think so either. But then I looked it up, and the beef is a type of cow. So there we go. I think it's like a castrated cow, or a cow that hasn't got laid or something. I don't know. Talk to Chabsu. He looks it up and he actually knows what the beef is, but it is a type of cow. Like veal is a type of cow. So there you go. The beef. Then we have the cat 2. We have the sheep. The sheep has block. We have the rabbit 2. So you've got a few of these animals that, all these pieces that have died or gone the way of the dodo. But the rabbit 2 is nice. He has Mighty Blow and Claw. I like to see that. We have the pig, who is your turning into your bullhawk piece. He has wrestle and tackle. To develop him into a really good bullhawk, you're going to need to get 2 heads or an agility up, and maybe get strip ball as well. So there's a few skills to get to really make him like a key bullhawk piece. But if you can get it and you can develop him that way and him still be sort of alive and healthy, it's going to be an amazing piece for you, because people don't expect to see that on a team. The rest of the beastmen aren't leveled, apart from one, which is the dog, who is nice level 4 piece. He's your ball carrier. He's your guy that picks up the ball to begin with and probably holds on to it for the rest of the drive. He's got sure hands. He's got block. He's got dodge. He is a nice piece. Yeah, I mean, obviously there are a few skills that I would get for him to make him an even better ball carrier. Maybe extra arms. Maybe get him 2 heads as well, so that if in a pinch he can dodge out of tackle zones, maybe make a dash for the end zone going through a tackle zone or 2. Yeah, that'd be nice. Few things. Obviously this is a 2-season team, and it hasn't got a huge amount of development compared to other teams. That's quite usual for Chaos teams. You don't look at their team roster and just be like blown away by all the skills they have, because they don't start with much other than horns. But there are a few things I think you could develop for this team. So you have the rabbit 2, who is developing into a nice killer piece. I wouldn't change that for the world. You also have the horse 2, who you're developing into a killer piece, or maybe you just gave him Mighty Blow to help him catch up in terms of development. I would say that should be it for your killer pieces. I'm okay with Chaos Warriors as killers. but I think they are also very much more suited to being that sort of wall of oppression and just blocking the way, and you shall not pass, and just being a big brutes that you can't get rid of and just bear down on you. I like having killer pieces that are a little bit more mobile, a little bit more suited to the role, and I think the Beastmen are more suited to that role. But having one Chaos Warrior killer piece and one Beastman killer piece, that's perfectly fine. I like the development on the pig as a bullhawk. Definitely need to get him a few more levels to get to that point where he's just a phenomenal bullhawk. Dog as a carrying piece is good. In terms of other pieces and how they're going to develop, your Chaos Warriors, I think that the progression you have there is great. Block, guard, maybe get a few more pieces with Mighty Blow just to add a little bit of sting. But if you're wanting to develop them in different ways, some stand firm would be nice. Some grab. I mean, these are skills that people don't often take. They often go for like your block, guard, your Mighty Blow, and those are all great choices. But just to have a little bit of diversity sometimes is really nice and really useful. If you have a team that is all block, guard, Mighty Blow, then you're great at sort of hitting things and being oppressive and a bit of a thug. But if you ever need to sort of have something else, a plan B, if you have one ball carrier and a rest of your team is killers and thugs that have guard and Mighty Blow, then you don't have much to fall back on. So maybe you sort of develop some tackle pieces, maybe develop some stand firm or some pieces with grab. Frenzy and Juggernaut synergizes so well, and it gives you more options. Have a piece that specializes in picking up the ball, have a piece that specializes in have a thrower, have somebody that's dedicated for those, a piece that's dedicated for being a thrower, and then another piece that's dedicated or even partially dedicated to being a receiver. The more arrows you have in your quiver, the more options you have, the better it is, right? So you have all these pieces that have yet to develop, and maybe just sort of carry on developing your sort of your bruisers, your sort of blockers and your killers. Carry on developing these other pieces that you specialized, but also maybe move some into some other directions as well. That would be a really good thing to see. Just to have a little bit of diversity, because Chaos is a team that can be so diverse. They excel at being killers, they excel at sort of bashing everyone to death, but I think the truly successful Chaos teams are those ones that can have something else to fall back on. Anyway, that's my point of view. Okay, so I think that about covers it for this week. Next week, I'll be coming to you with your week 4 action, giving you predictions for week 5. And I actually have a little bit more time this week, so I am going to be taking a lot of those video recordings and starting work on these videos for you, these hype videos. I already have a lot of music picked out. I already have a script, if you could call it that, like a way that I'm going to synchronize the action to the music to tell a story. That sounds very arty-farty and pie in the sky, airy-fairy, doesn't it? But I actually do. I have a plan. So there's not just going to be a video with cutscenes of, I don't know, Chaos Warriors bashing ogres' heads in. It's going to actually be like in time to the music and tell a bit of a story. So yeah, looking forward to doing it. It's going to be some effort, but I'm going to probably start it this week coming. So as I said, I think last week or maybe the week before, if you have any suggestions for music you want to have, a type of music, I know that Spoony Bard actually came to me with a piece, a track, because his team is all named around a certain show, anime show, I think, or a film. So I was like, sure, no problems. I'll find that music and I'll put it on your hype video. If you have a request for the type of music you want to have, or a feel you want to have, or an actual specific track or artist you want to have on your hype video, as long as it doesn't set off red alarms with music policies on YouTube, and I can actually post the video with the music and it not be taken down or something along those lines, then sure, I'll get the music and I'll use it in the hype video. No problems. Anyway, that's enough from me. I've been taking up too much of your time already. Catch you next week. Until then, have a great week. Have lots of fun games. Lots of death and dismemberment, and not all of it yours. And speak to you soon.